What is up, guys? My name is Jason Whan, and in this video we're going to be talking about how to get rich. The first idea that you must adopt if you want to get rich and acquire a wealth is that you will not get rich working for money. You must flip the script and let money work for you. So another way of putting it is that you'll not get rich if you trade your time for money. Your time is one of the most important resources to you. And what I mean is that you're not going to get rich working for someone else, doing the typical 9 to 5, 40-hour-a-week job. Yes, you can get by as long as you work, but if you stop working, your cash flow stops. And you must build other sources of income that provide you cash flow without you trading your time for it. So a lot of people think that having a high net worth makes you rich and wealthy. Yes, you have a high net worth, but if your cash flow is negative, then you're not very wealthy. You're losing money, and before you know it, your net worth would have dwindled to something very little. I've heard so many stories about how, a family is very rich and, they give their, all of their assets and businesses to their children, and their children don't know the principles of living below your means and how to sustain a good business. And what happens is that they have very high net worths inherited from their families, but because they're always buying expensive stuff and, going overseas to travel and indulge in, all these holidays and entertainments, they're spending so much money and the cash flow is negative. And before you know it, their inheritance from their very rich parents basically dwindle to nothing. So basically, it's about building passive cash flow. Cash flow that you don't trade your time for until that passive cash flow can support you on its own. That's financial independence. That's when you can just not do any work and still be able to cover all of your expenses with your passive cash flow. So there's a game that Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, created called Cash Flow. And you can just search it up on Google and it should come up. And it's basically a game that teaches you how to acquire financial independence by increasing your passive cash flow over time. I highly recommend you to play that game. The second idea to becoming rich is to live below your means. Living below your means is to be frugal. It means if you earn $100 a week, you're going to save a portion of that income. And there's a rule that you should always live by, and that's to save 10% of your income no matter what. So if you earn $100 a week, that means you're going to save $10. So the $90 left will go to basic expenses, eating out, buying things, etc. And most people don't live below their means because they want to seem, high status socially and live a high consumption lifestyle. And if you look online, that's what rich people always seem to be doing. They're all driving foreign cars, eating at expensive restaurants, buying designer clothing, and so on. But you see, that's not the reality. In fact, most rich people, people who are millionaires, who own houses, they're not driving foreign cars. They're driving Toyotas, they're driving Hondas, and they don't eat out at expensive restaurants all day, and they don't buy designer clothing. They're frugal and they live below their means. And because they live below their means, well, they have, residual income that can be put to investments that earn them passive income. So, the people who are, driving foreign cars and, living in mansions and, flexing basically, these people are literally broke. You just won't know it until they declare bankruptcy. As said by Warren Buffett, when the tide goes out, you can see who was skinny dipping. What this means is that when the sun is shining and things are all rosy, you can get by pretending you're rich and wealthy. And interest rates are low, people can take on huge debts to make very risky investments. And, I heard that, I think it was last year, my parents' friend, because interest rates were so low, this person really wanted to invest into the real estate market because that was really hot back then. And what this person did was she sold her house and she sold her house, moved out into another place where she paid rent so that she could invest into real estate. And now interest rates have gone up, and well, now she's going to be paying heaps of interest on her investments. And also, the housing market has gone down as of now, so she can't sell, her house for a profit that she had expected to be able to sell for. And so she's really in a bad spot right now. I don't know what's happened to her, but she's definitely not having fun right now. And some people even take out loans to buy brand new foreign cars, and they call that an investment that loses up to 30% of its value in the first year of its purchase. And so, yeah, it just goes to show, what happens on the rainy days, what happens when interest rates go up. The tide goes out, and those who weren't prepared for it are caught butt naked. So the third idea that I will mention in this post is to seize opportunities when they present themselves. You must not procrastinate when a splendid opportunity presents itself to you. Trust me, amazing opportunities will present themselves to you when you least expect it. And if you procrastinate and you take these opportunities for granted, you'll be greatly disappointed by yourself for being so indecisive. And the danger of procrastination is detailed beautifully in The Richest Man in Babylon by George Samuel Clason. So the book describes of a discourse between Arkad, supposedly the richest man in Babylon, and men who came to learn from Arkad the timeless principles of acquiring wealth. And a poor man volunteered to share his experience of missing out on an opportunity that caused him great regret. So this man's father had a friend whose son had discovered a piece of land with rich and fertile soil that could be put to use. And this piece of land was above the water canals of Babylon, and so there was no water to give life to the fertile soil. And the plan was to build 3 very large water wheels that could be powered by oxen to raise water to the fertile soil. And once this was achieved, the piece of land could be converted into herb patches that could be sold for a very handsome price to the citizens of the town. And the son didn't have enough capital to fund the entire endeavor, and so he had to acquire money from investors. And this young man's father urged him to go into this investment, but the young man, being a naive youth, he decided to purchase a very few expensive and appealing robes instead to, add to his wardrobe collection. Go to my friend's son and agree to invest into this enterprise, the young man's father counseled. And the young man responded, I'm young and I have plenty of time. He hesitated, and this young man could not overcome his temptations and urges, and to his later regret, the enterprise that he failed to invest in proved to be more profitable than anyone had imagined. Good luck and opportunity waits for no man. It is here today and gone tomorrow. So that's it for this video, and thank you guys for listening.